Hey you guys, what's up? My name's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction and I share my life with you. So today what I want to do, you guys, is I want to share my experience with you on methamphetamine. I want to share with you what it was like, how I got started, what prompted me to try it, and what some warning signs are to look for to see or to tell if a loved one that you have is struggling with methamphetamine addiction. So let's start out from the beginning. I grew up in the South. I live in the South, and here where I live, methamphetamine is very, very prevalent. A lot of people use methamphetamine. A lot of people cook it. We live in rural areas where the houses are spaced out and people have meth labs, all kinds of stuff, right? So the first time I ever tried methamphetamine was, I think I was probably about 18, 19 years old, and I had actually been smoking pot with a group of friends, and we were partying, and we had a hotel party one night, and that was the first time I ever smoked meth. Now, once I smoked meth and realized how it gave me this burst of energy, it was almost like an automatic, my heart just boom, 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 real fast, and it got faster and faster and faster. It was almost like the hair on my head started growing. So with methamphetamine, that's what attracted me to it, was the energy I got from it, the feeling to want to go out and do things, be motivated, clean the house, go out to parties, go just do stuff while I was on meth. And that's what like really turned me on to it. So from the first time I tried it, I smoked it. And I smoked it for a long time before I ever started injecting meth. I became a daily meth user by the time I was about 21 years old. And I would smoke it and I would snort it, but I hadn't started shooting yet. I dropped a lot of weight, drastic amount of weight dropped in a very short period of time. And that was also another thing that really turned me on to meth. Like, I really liked that it made me not have an appetite and that I lost weight. By the time I was about 25, I started injecting meth, and once I had switched from snorting and smoking meth to injecting, it's a totally different kind of situation. The high from injecting meth is so much more intense. The only way I can explain it to you is that when you inject methamphetamine into your vein for the first time, it gives you an orgasm. It makes you feel, if you're a woman, like you just peed in your pants, but it's not pee, if you know what I'm saying. I know this is like really a lot of information and maybe too much information, but I'm just trying to share with you guys how it got me sucked in, how it drew me in, and I got addicted to it. Because methamphetamine is a dirty, dirty drug, okay? They use rat poisoning, lye, fuel, heat, red phosphorus, salt, all kinds of things. Those are some things that they use. Gas to cook methamphetamine. And then I was injecting that into my vein. But the high was so intense and so long acting that, to me, at that time in my life, it was worth it. Because the high would last me 3 days. Now that initial rush and that like orgasmic feeling, that wouldn't last for 3 days. But the heart rate, the energy, that would last for days. I could go for a week without any sleep. But by the time I hit about 6 days without no sleep, I would start to hallucinate and start to really lose my shit and have to go to sleep, you know? But that's what drew me into methamphetamine and injecting it, was the energy and like the weight loss, and I could do so many things. I felt like when I would go into my job, I would get so much work done. When I would come home, I would get all my laundry done, all my chores done in the house. My house would be spick and span. And that for me, that was like positives, you know. I really didn't start experiencing a lot of negative side effects from methamphetamine until I had been using it for a couple of years. And what I mean by negative side effects, I mean like my teeth back here were starting to go bad. I had to get one pulled. All the other ones are okay so far. But my teeth started going bad. The hallucinations were starting to get so drastic when I would stay up for too long that it would happen so quickly. Like, I might stay up for 2 days and I was already hallucinating because the way the meth was reacting with my system, it was just like it was starting to really affect me negatively. I started losing jobs because I would go into my work so high. But at the beginning, I had all these great side effects like weight loss, energy, partying, you know, just like things that I wanted to do were working out for me. But the longer I stayed on meth, the worse it got. And I think that's true with any addiction. But for methamphetamine, the high was so intense that ever since that day that I shot up and had that orgasm feeling, from that day forward, I was searching for that feeling and trying to get it every time. I would pump my veins full of as much meth as I could because I wanted that feeling again, and I was chasing that feeling. When you're using meth long term, psychosis starts happening. I was hanging around with people who thought that police were following them, that were seeing things that weren't there. I was around people who carried guns, and it was just when you are running in the meth crowd, it's very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Any drug is dangerous, but methamphetamine was so intense and the high was so crazy that that's what kept me going back to it. And I relapsed on meth so many times because it kept pulling me back in. To get off of methamphetamine, you have to totally separate yourself from those kind of people, because if you don't, you will continue to relapse, because it's almost like a black hole. The kind of people that do meth, they all hang out with each other, and they will pull you back in if you keep going around. So I just wanted to share with you guys what my experience was like on meth. You know, it heightened my senses. It made me aroused. It made me want to be more sexual. It made me want to do more activities. It made me want to clean. It made me want to draw. I felt like I was more artistic when I was on meth. I just had this overall like heightened sense of awareness on methamphetamine. And it was crazy times, but that's just my experience, and I wanted to share that with you guys. I do not recommend anyone going out and trying methamphetamine. I have been sober off methamphetamine since July 13th of 2015, and I'm super proud of that. But that's my experience, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I hope y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all later.